Today, I sat down with Chris from MMCrypto. Now, you might know this crypto millionaire from his crazy lifestyle. He's got the cars, he's got the watches, multi-million-dollar trades. It's totally crazy. This is a super alpha pack conversation on how to make it big, on mindset, on managing the crypto positions. There's altcoin alpha, Bitcoin price prediction as well. Very interesting Bitcoin price prediction. So you got to stick around to the end of the video to hear this prediction. It's very interesting, very well founded. And I think you're going to love hearing Chris's insights. Somebody who went from literally being a taxi driver to being a multi-millionaire. It's a very interesting story. Let's get into it. Chris, how's it going, man?
I'm doing very well. Long time no see, my man, and good to see you again. Good to talk to the Lark community. Happy to be here.
Now, look, today I want to dive into all kinds of fun stuff because, Chris, you've been like just such a powerhouse in the space in terms of just like living the lifestyle, man. You know, you're in Dubai, you're all around the world. You know, you've got the cars and stuff, and you're making like crazy multi-million-dollar trades. And it's a wild, wild thing. But you didn't always have that, right? And I love crypto because so many of the people that you see in crypto today were rags to riches stories. Like, I didn't start off with anything. You didn't start with anything. You used to be a taxi driver. That's freaking crazy, man. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey from that to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. Happy to share that. Always very happy to share that. It's an exciting story if I think back about it. You mentioned the cars. Just want to say quickly, I am about to sell all my cars for a specific reason, and that comes down to Bitcoin, altcoins, crypto. We will talk about that later on. Yeah, I was a taxi driver, I think, until 2017 when I invested into crypto. I put all my money aside, which I had back then. It was not very much, to be honest. And I calculated how much do I need for 12 months. I put that aside, and then everything else I went into crypto. Started also with my YouTube channel as the crypto investments were going kind of well, wanted to document that. Then dropped out of university, dropped out of my taxi job. And yeah, it took me basically 12 months, exactly the amount of months I calculated, put the money aside. So I was broke on my bank account completely. I still had the crypto portfolio, broke on my bank account the moment I finally not only started money with YouTube, making money with YouTube, but also finally getting some money from trading. And yeah, that was quite a lucky story. But as you know, you can force luck. And yeah, now we are here a few years later, a few cycles later. I remember I even watched your channel back then in my early days. I think I watched you, Superman, just for fun.
And you're showing your age on YouTube, man.
Yeah, and of course, Ivan on Tech, like all the old school guys who were there even before me. So yeah, man, you were a big part of my journey. So I'm very, very, very happy to be here.
It's crazy to see the insane potential of the cryptocurrency markets. It never ceases to blow my mind. You see these rags to riches stories, whether it be content creators or traders or affiliate marketers or people getting airdrops or these guys, the meme coins. Like there's that story of the Shiba guy who invested like $500 and it ended up being like $1 billion. Like the balls of steel to hold that the whole way up. I mean, goodness gracious. But so in terms of, I guess, where the money's come from, I mean, how much, because I know you've got business stuff going on as well. And obviously there's trading and you're probably doing venture investments and of course affiliate marketing and stuff like that. So all this stuff kind of together, what's sort of been like your big business stuff? Has it mostly just been trading or has it been a good mix of all those things?
I think the biggest part is the portfolio growth, right? So whatever I do, whether I invest in an altcoin, I flip it back into Bitcoin, whether I invest in a seed round, whether I have a successful trade, which is usually Bitcoin settled, and if it's not, then I'm taking the US dollar profits, I put it in Bitcoin, or whether it's my YouTube income, affiliate marketing, everything is paid in Bitcoin. All the profits I'm getting in crypto or Bitcoin or some altcoins, mostly Bitcoin. And then of course, this appreciates over time. So I would say that would be the biggest thing. But just as you said, all these different income streams, whether it's trading, investing, equity, seed rounds, affiliate marketing, all of that goes into the same bucket. So I am a little bit decentralized, a little bit diversified within that niche. But in the end of the day, it's all crypto. So if crypto goes to zero, I'm at zero. That's just something I wanted to mention. I'm not one of these guys who are telling you I'm having 12 different sources of income. No. I basically, if you break it down, have one source of income.
It's all crypto, man. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever thought? I mean, I've got stocks and stuff like that, and I've gone back and forth on, gosh, should I do real estate? It really seems like a pain in the ass. Maybe I don't need to do real estate. But I've been throwing money into stocks, tech stocks, I got Coinbase stocks and a few other tech stocks, and
that went well recently.
some dividend. That one's gone really well. Some dividend stock, like super boring dividend stocks, like electric companies and stuff like that pay out like 4 or 5% a year, which is kind of boring, but it kind of feels nice to have something like not crypto. So when my crypto portfolio is down like 70%, like at least my dividend stocks are fine. You ever thought about, I don't know, cutting off a few million and be like, I'm just gonna put those in some stocks somewhere and just not think about it for 20 years?
Well, stocks, no, but I definitely want to diversify. But I had the plan laid out from the very beginning. I said, I'm gonna do like 3 cycles. And then when Bitcoin comes to more of a maturity point where we are saturated in terms of gains because we have diminishing returns to scales, this is when I want to diversify out. So this will be the last cycle where I'm all in. And I said that from the very beginning. And in this cycle, towards the end, I am going to diversify more out into non-crypto equity, into farmland, and maybe even into other kind of real estate. But mostly, I think non-crypto equity and farmland. This is my plan. This was my plan from the very beginning, and I am going to do that. So even though it's a little bit stupid that I went through all of these 70% downwards movements, 80% downwards movements, I would have not gotten them if I wouldn't have held on to my crypto. So I never had intended to try to sell at the top, buy at the bottom. Just go around and ask people who are actually honest and not lying. No one can really do that properly. Even if you hit the top, you don't get the entry point. The safest thing for me was always to just stay in, buy, and hold all the way through, no matter what happens. It was the right decision, and I came up with that decision in the very early days because I asked a few people who I knew, a few very rich people, billionaires, and at this time I was poor, so I even asked like some millionaires, what were your biggest regrets, what were your biggest mistakes? And it was always trying to outperform the market, trading too big portion of your portfolio, risking too much on a specific trade, trying to sell at the top or buy at the bottom. And because that was their mistakes, I thought instead of making these mistakes myself and learning from my own mistakes, I might as well take other smart people's mistakes and not do them myself. So I still think buying and holding is the best, but intentionally I am going to diversify out and diversify my portfolio a little bit because I think just being all in crypto forever maybe is a little bit crazy.
Yeah, at some point you can, cash in a few of the chips. It is crazy to think about. Really, what you're really doing, essentially holding through these cycles and stuff, is just making the long-term trade. You're willing to say, I can hold this asset for 10 years. And look, we've been in since 2017, and like 2027 is not coming up that far away, man. Like we're like pieces of furniture in the crypto space now.
We are getting old, man.
Literally, there's literally Bitcoin that I've been holding now since 2017. And that's pretty crazy to think about. And at some point, yeah, it's okay to cash some of that out in order to do something with, because at some point the risk reward will simply not be there anymore. If we're at $1 million Bitcoin, okay, it's going to go to 4 or 5 million, but that's only 200 or 300% gains from that point, perspective wise. Now, I wanted to ask you a question because look, you famously manage massive positions, and it's incredible to watch. Like if I have like a 50K position or something open, I'm just like, I'm watching it, man. I'm like, what's going on? And I see you got like, these multi-million-dollar positions. I think your current position at the time of recording this video, like $3.5 million in profit or something like that. How do you manage these crazy positions, man? Does it keep you up at night? Are you stressed out by these?
Yeah, just for everyone who's interested, I want to show it on my phone and then answer your question. This is the top one is the Bitcoin one. It's 78 Bitcoin in a profit. And the lower one is the Ethereum one. It's 146 Ethereum in a profit. So if you go into it, I think the Bitcoin trade is 3.65 million. And the Ethereum trade, let me check, 300,000. So like I think both together are now 400 4 million US dollars in a profit, and I paid like around 300,000 US dollars in funding fees. The reason why I don't freak out about these trades, and I think that is pretty important for every single trader, is I see this simply as numbers, completely non-emotional. The same goes with my portfolio. In fact, I don't have a portfolio tracker. I don't know exactly my net worth. I have, of course, no crypto with me, right? If you come, you take anything, like there's nothing to take. I have it decentralized everywhere in the world. I know exactly where what is. And some things I don't even know, but other people know where it is. And that is it. But I don't really know how much it is. And I don't really need to know how much it is, because then it drives me maybe crazy when we are seeing these 70, 80% downwards movements. For me, I only have one goal: maximize the financially. I have only one goal: maximize the number of Bitcoin I'm holding, not the US dollar equivalent. Just look at it as Bitcoin, get as many Bitcoin as you can, and the US dollar equivalent, short, mid run, it's not really important for me. Escaping US dollar into crypto was in the first place just the purpose of escaping the traditional financial system. So then when I lose US dollar equivalent, it actually means in the end of the day, I'm just losing something I'm escaping. So if I now try to sell Bitcoin into US dollar to get more US dollar, I'm getting more of the crap I wanted to escape in the first place. That is just a little bit of the mindset switch I had in the very early beginning. That's why I don't really care when my portfolio goes down. Now about the Bitcoin trade, because that is, of course, something I'm seeing in US dollar, but this is position trades. There is day trades, minute trades, there is swing trades, but I'm doing position trades, and that's on the very high time frame. You can basically open a position trade by looking at the monthly chart. And I usually do that. I try to time the Bitcoin bottom. I got liquidated 2 times throughout the bear market. I think 2 times, maybe even 3 times. $100,000 gone here, $150,000 gone here. I think maybe even at 200,000 US dollars gone. Of course, like 400,000 US dollars, I lost them along the way. Now this trade is at $4 million in a profit. That is basically a 10x of the money I lost, while not exactly hitting the Bitcoin bottom. But that was my plan, where I thought, okay, the first time the Bitcoin bottom, I thought it was like 24. I got liquidated, then 20 got liquidated. Then I went in eventually at 17,000 when we broke this monthly resistance to the downside. And my plan was from the very beginning, no matter what happens, I either get liquidated or I put my stop loss above the liquidation price to save, of course, the liquidation fees. That is something everyone should do if you don't like stop losses. I'm opening this trade, and there's just 2 things. Either I get stopped out at my liquidation price, or I'm running this one all the way up. And it doesn't matter to me if at 30,000 we get rejected and go down to 20, I will stay in my trade. It's a very similar approach to my holding portfolio. That's why now, even though I think maybe we will talk about that in the end, about some predictions in the short and mid run, even though I think soon we are due to a retracement, soon we are due to a significant retracement and a rejection. The bull market is not over, and I will hold even that position through that rejection, because I don't exactly know. I can't tell you 100%. We are going to get rejected at 48,500, which is a possible point. Maybe we go to 55, maybe we go to 60 and they're going to go to 50. I will not get a re-entry point. That's why I'm just holding through it. And I know these retracements are necessary. So if they happen and the trade goes from 4 million in a profit to 2 million, I don't care. Eventually it's going to be 6, 8, 10, 12. And I already know this is going to happen. That gives me the confidence of just holding it through, because time will tell. And I did the same in the last bull market, 2021, when people told me back then at like a few $100,000, take the profits. And eventually it went to millions.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I'm looking forward to watching that sucker get up to like $12 million profit, man. Oh, I love it. That's amazing. That's an amazing, a lot of alpha in there for people on mindset. Like, you don't need to check your prices 5 times a day. I know people are out there opening up their apps, looking at their net worth, go up and down by 5%, 6%, then down by 10%, and your mood's dependent on that. Yeah. Man, that's just going to get you all screwed up. So multi-million-dollar positions, multi-million-dollar profits. At some point, you must have spent your money on some pretty dumb shit. I mean, we've all done. I got some like a thing sitting here in a box never even opened. Right? I was like, I'm gonna do this, and it's just sitting there reminding me every day of not opening the box. But what's like the dumbest thing? With all this money coming in, what's the dumbest thing you spent some of your money on?
It's hard to say, because there were a few times where I felt like, that was a little bit of a waste, but I'm learning along the way. I really don't want to waste money. I don't like it. I think one car which I bought was really, really stupid, and it was a Lamborghini SVJ. It's a nice car. Everyone thought, wow, it looks amazing. I just wanted a car where the doors open to the upside, right? And then they had this Lamborghini SVJ. I was like, okay, let me buy it. And then I really like convertibles, but this one was like you had to take the roof off and then put it somewhere. You can't put it in the car.
What a pain in the ass.
Exactly. So now imagine it rains or there's a sandstorm coming. That is the first thing. Then the gears were very old. So the moment I drove out of the car dealership, I was like, man, I hate it. It's so uncomfortable. So like very, very quickly afterwards, I actually sold it again. I made it public on YouTube, and I lost in US dollar. I lost some money on the car because it decreased in value significantly. It was almost new I think it was new when I bought it. And then, like with a few kilometers, I lost a good amount of money. But I think in terms of crypto, I kind of stayed the same, because I always have everything in crypto. That was a pretty dumb decision. Then, sometimes I took a jet. I usually travel in jets because I don't like to go through like the security and like change airplanes. Whenever there's a stopover, I prefer to take a jet. But like sometimes I took one, especially in the bull market, which was just way too big for the purpose. It's enough to sit in a small one, right? Sometimes, like if there is not a stopover, just take a freaking commercial jet, like a normal airplane. And this is something I'm doing now. Every now and then I'm just taking the normal airplane and just thinking about saving money wherever I can, because everything I save is going to be so much more worth in the future. So that is a few things. The smartest things I've ever spent money on, maybe that is also interesting, is experiences with friends and family, and of course food, like buying the best wild animal food or the best grass-fed beef, the organic fruits, organic this. Like these are things I will never regret. And experiences, of course, as well.
That's the stuff that really matters anyway. If the watches, the cars, whatever, they're just toys at the end of the day, the big boy toys, right?
That's why I'm selling.
Like I love my watches, right? I've never been a super big car guy. I've just got like a Tesla, and I love my Tesla. It's very practical for getting the kids around and stuff. But in terms of the toys, they're just fun. But really, what it comes down to is friends, family, the moments in life. That's what really, really matters when it comes down to it. Here's an interesting question for you. Maybe you've already covered a bit of this, but going from not having money to having shit tons of money, what's been the biggest changes in your life?
Hard to say. I mean, really, in my mind, nothing really changed, right? I am the same person I was before. I think a lot of concerns are gone. Whenever I have a problem, or someone in the family or a friend has a problem, the most amazing thing money does for you is you can help other people. You can solve problems. You can remove all different kinds of worries. But I can confidently say I am not any happier than I was when I was driving a taxi. The good thing is, when I was driving a taxi, I was a very happy person. I'm now a very happy person. So that's a good thing. But I don't really think money buys you happiness. It can, of course, help you alleviate other things, which then can induce happiness. So, for example, if you can help your family, that is something which can really make me very happy. But in the end of the day, besides the financial worries being taken away, I don't really think it did a lot to my level of happiness. And that is something, maybe someone who is watching this right now and doesn't have as much money, you should actually focus on getting your happiness from other things like relationships, family, your health, and these kind of things are really something which alleviate happiness. So that is something I just wanted to mention. But other than that, of course, the biggest thing money gives you is freedom, right? Not only you can help these people, you can go and eat whatever you want, you can travel to wherever you want, you can one day maybe you feel like, I want to lay down in bed until 11 a.m. You can do that. And I think freedom is a beautiful thing. It's the main reason I think why everyone should be in Bitcoin. Breaking free from the traditional financial system, taking your own financial freedom into your own hands, taking over power over your own funds. I think it's all about freedom, and this is what wealth and money really gives you, and this is something you should chase, not the monetary, not these like watches and these kind of things, because just as you said, it's just play stuff, right? When you buy a watch or you buy a car, the dopamine you get from that, it really wears off. It's just things after 3 months. In the end of the day, when we go from this world, no one really looks at, oh, that was his car, that was his car. Everyone just thinks about how did you make them feel, right? What experiences did you have with this person? And I think when you focus on this is something you can really pull some happiness from. So yeah, that is what changed, and other things didn't change.
I love it. Sometimes I feel like money is kind of like a superpower. If there's any superpower in the world, it's money, because imagine if your kid gets sick or something. Like we had one of my wife's school friends, their daughter got like leukemia or something. What blood is that? Blood cancer. They got the blood cancer one, and it's terrible. And they were trying to raise money. Like, we'll send them a bunch of money. That's fine. We still send them some money. And like, obviously it was nice that we could help, but like, most importantly, like, man, it's just so hard to be in that situation. Of course, lots of people are in terrible situations all around the world, but like, when you've got money, you can help your family, you can help for all kinds of things. For emergency situations, obviously, it's very critical to not have to worry about things, because money can solve a lot of problems. And also about making those experiences, be able to see family. Like, I live in a country that's very, very far away from the rest of the world. And a lot of people that I know, they very rarely go home to see their families because it's just too expensive for them to be able to afford plane tickets and stuff like that. And the fact that we can afford to fly, and that we can afford to fly with comfort, is a huge thing.
Yeah.
So now,
I know, by the way, I wanted to go to New Zealand one day, but it was like, no matter where I am at the moment, am I in Asia and Europe, it's always like a huge travel. It's
always like 10 hours, like from Singapore. It's not that far, man. It's only 10 hours.
Even from Singapore, and I thought it was around the corner.
Yeah, that for New Zealand, that's around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. For me, 10 hours is like the most flight on.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Now, we are going to talk a little bit about crypto before we wrap up this conversation. Altcoins. And we talked about Bitcoin. We talked about your Bitcoin, Ethereum trades, Epic trades. What altcoins are you holding? What coins do you think are going to do particularly well this cycle?
Yeah, I can actually go, because I don't have a portfolio tracker, but for altcoins, I actually have a list here. I shared, I think 7 months ago in May, something which was at this point of time very, very unpopular, and that was ordinals, right? I think the market cap, when I shared it the first time on Twitter, people can just Google MMCrypto Twitter ordinals or MMCrypto Twitter hashtag Ordi, and you will see that I tweeted about that in May, when the market cap of the whole ordinal ecosystem was at like 100 million. And I think Ethereum was at, I think the Ethereum market cap, I forgot, but it was like 1,500 times higher. And now, of course, we saw already ordinals getting a little bit more popular. And some of the positions, like Ordi, I bought it at like first time at $7, is now at $70, $80. So that's a 10x. Still holding that. And I still think ordinals have a place here. And for the reason, the ordinals, just for everyone who doesn't know, is tokens and NFTs on top of Bitcoin. Whether it really makes sense or not in terms of fees, speed of sending it, this is up for another discussion. But I think that when it comes to altcoins, the most important thing, unfortunately, is not fundamentals. It's not really the long-term perspective, because I'm personally buying altcoins just to get more Bitcoin. For me, buying altcoins, I look at where are they listed, where are they potentially going to be listed, what connections does the team have, who are the market makers, and what's the narrative. And the narrative for ordinals, I love it. Bitcoin is the front runner. Bitcoin is the mother of this bull market once again. And having tokens and NFTs on top of Bitcoin, this is what I foresaw to be interesting in the future, which the future is happening right now, is to have things which were already popular the last cycle and the cycle before, like NFTs and tokens, having them on top of Bitcoin, which is the front runner of this bull market, might be an interesting thing. So this is still something I'm looking into. Other ordinals is still something I'm looking into buying. Not forever, but I will hold them and then flip them back into Bitcoin. So that is one thing. Then, of course, Ethereum, I just swapped a bigger part of my Bitcoin into Ethereum recently. At one point of time, Ethereum does take the lead. We are not there yet. Bitcoin is still taking the lead, but we all know, you know it, you did a few cycles. At one point, Ethereum is taking the lead, breaking resistance before Bitcoin breaks it, breaking out before Bitcoin breaks out. Didn't happen yet, but I think it is going to happen in this cycle. So I swapped some more into Ethereum. Then I'm holding some BNB, which they were even some point underwater, but now, of course, it's going much better again. I'm holding, and this I'm holding for ages now. It was my least successful altcoin position, and also the one I'm believing in the least, XRP. I'm just waiting for this one to finally break out. I know there is at one point a huge break going to come. The XRP family is extremely strong. I'm not an XRP fan at all, but I sympathize with the XRP community. And I know, even though I think there is a lot of XRP being dumped on the people, right? Unfortunately, and that is maybe one of the reasons why it's acting kind of like a stable coin. At one point, it is going to break out. Then I'm holding Frax shares, Aptos. Of course, layer ones are quite important for me personally, because when altcoins are pumping, usually it's the layer ones pumping first. Then we see layer two, and then we see dApps and stuff going crazy. So Aptos is something I'm holding, Chainlink and Frax shares, which is an alternative to stable coins.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
That's a good portfolio. It's some interesting stuff. What's interesting is that, a lot of bigger cap stuff. I mean, some of those weren't always bigger cap stuff, like Ordi, right? Wasn't big cap when you got into it. Now it's much bigger, but very, very interesting. Yeah, the XRP guys, man, light a candle for those dudes, because, man, they have suffered some pain without a doubt. Holy cow. But hopefully this cycle they finally get to make some money again with everybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
Last question to get you out here on Bitcoin price prediction for this cycle. What do you got?
Yeah, maybe I can share the screen for like just 1-2 minutes and show what I have here.
There we go. The screen's up.
Okay, perfect. So I want to keep it very easy. We have here the monthly chart for Bitcoin. Every single candlestick represents 1 month. And this is the easiest you can actually break the Bitcoin price action, the Bitcoin price history down to. And this is also the time frame I'm having my multi-million US dollar trades open. You can see that history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. We always have a bull market, then we have a bear market, bull market, bear market, bull market, bear. Easy, right? And then you can see the resistance here, the top line, and the bottom line is the support. So far, Bitcoin was perfectly respecting support and resistance. Also, every time we are having these downward sloping trend lines suppressing the Bitcoin price within a bear market, right? We had the same thing here. And by the way, the moment we broke this one here was the moment I entered my multi-million dollar trade. Also, what every time repeats is we have these horizontal resistances holding the Bitcoin price down in a bear market. And we had the same thing right here, which was the 30 to 32,000 US dollar price level. The moment we broke it, I said, okay, now it's full on bull market. And as you can see, we have full on bull market 5 months in a row already. So now, interesting. What do you think is the Bitcoin price prediction for this bull market? That is a question which you could say, okay, let's just go to the top of the line and say, okay, that says 100,000. Maybe if it's happening a little bit later, which it is most likely after the halving, maybe a year, 1.5 years after the halving or something, we should look at 130,000. Why I think these lines here, even though in history they were always respected, are going to be obsolete in the future is the simple reason. And you know what? Let me actually go back. I want to keep it as easy as possible. Just wanted to give something for people to visualize what I'm talking about. I think these lines are not going to be respected forever. The initial reason why Bitcoin was created was the flaws of the financial system. We all know that fiat currencies historically, and this is something which didn't change within the last thousands of years, basically, they have an expiry date. And no fiat currency ever has survived forever. And I think it's the same thing going to happen for the fiat currencies we are seeing right now. We saw it, of course, with the Venezuelan peso and Argentinian peso and Zimbabwe dollar, and like all of these fiat currencies in the third world, they broke already, right? Already long time gone. Then the second world countries broke. Now we saw recently, just in the last year, we already saw the euro a little bit like being weaker, the Great British Pound being weaker. In the end of the day, all fiat currencies are falling knives, right? It's like a law of nature, gravity pulling them down to the floor. And we already saw a lot of fiat currencies hitting the floor. Then we have some other fiat currencies where the knives are falling a little bit slower. Euro, Great British Pound, they will hit the floor as well eventually. The US dollar is going to hit the floor as well. It's going to be probably the last man standing, but it is going to hit the floor. So if that is the case, then this is the constant. I think this is something I know for sure which is going to happen. And now you could look at this chart and you can say, oh, things are not different. We are always going to respect these lines. No, if you really zoom out, things are not different. The fiat currencies are going to collapse. And if that is going to happen, then Bitcoin measured in US dollar, which the chart I just showed you is representing, is literally meaning if US dollar goes to zero, Bitcoin goes to infinite, right? So we can't respect these lines forever. We have their diminishing returns to scale. Eventually, Bitcoin is going to reach $1 million, $5 million, $10 million per Bitcoin, per Bitcoin. But the question is, how much can you actually buy from it? What is your purchasing power, right? And that is something I'm looking out for. So this chart is going to be obsolete. This chart is going to be not important at all, whether that's in 5 years, in 10 years, or in 15 years. So for this bull cycle, I would say my very conservative price prediction is respecting this chart, and that would be 140,000 US dollars, just double of the last Bitcoin bull market high, 140,000, 130,000, something like that. That's my most conservative prediction. But I personally think 300,000-400,000 US dollars is also possible already for this cycle. In a longer term, 10 years outlook, I think we can reach easily millions of US dollars per Bitcoin for the reasons I just mentioned, that the fiat currency system is just flawed. It has an expiry date, and every day we are waking up, we are coming closer to that.
Fantastic. I'm on board with that. Absolutely, man. $34 trillion in debt in the USA. What could possibly go wrong?
Wow. The debt per person is like a multiple higher than the net worth per person. In fact, I think the net worth per person is on average negative. So it's just impossible to stem that. The only thing they can do is print more. But if they print more, that they just extend the inevitable to happen, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it is going to.
Chris, fantastic conversation, fantastic insights. I hope that everyone who's listened has got great value out of this. Go follow Chris on Twitter at MMCrypto. Check out his YouTube channel. He's sharing all kinds of great insights. Today in the Bitcoin price, my friends, you'll find out the price over there on the channels. Check it out. Chris, thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me, man. Thank you, everyone, for watching. It was amazing to talk to your audience. I watched your channel already years back, 2017, and man, you share very great content, and representative to that is your crowd. I think they are very smart people, and it's a big pleasure to talk to you all.
Thank you.